Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss all the practical questions of the practical book, chapter 2.1, that is Python sequences, strings, lists, and tuples. The first question is, what is a string slice? If A is equal to blueberry, evaluate the following. Now, first of all, what is a string slice? It is a substring. That means the part of the main string. So string slice is done by specifying the index numbers in square brackets. So whatever is the range of index numbers is specified in the square bracket, then accordingly the substring will be collected from the string. So that is called string slicing. So here A is a string with value blueberry. Now if you want to print A within bracket 2 colon 3, then it will print all the characters present at index number 2 to 3, but 3 will be excluded. So the character at index number 2 will be printed and the output is U. Similarly, print A within square bracket 2 colon. So it will print all the characters from index number 2 till end, and the last index is omitted. So the output is UEBERRY. That means from index number 2 till the end of the string, all the characters will be printed. Now the next is print A within square bracket colon 3. That means it will print all the characters from beginning till index number 2. Why? Because index number 3 will be excluded. So it will print the characters B, L and U. Similarly, print A within square bracket simply colon. That means all characters as first and last index is not given here, it's omitted. So it will print the entire string. Next one is print A within square bracket -1 colon -3. So here it will print, it will give no output because -1 indicates the last character and -3 indicates third character from left. That means it will not go back. That means -1 means it will first read the last character, then it cannot go back till the -3 character. So slicing cannot be done backward, so it will not give any output. However, if you just write -3 colon -1, so it will print third character from last till the last character, that is RR. That is not there in the question, but I have just given this to show you how it is done. Now next one is print A within square bracket colon -1. So it will print all the characters from the beginning till last but one character. That means excluding the last character. So it will print BLUEBERR. Now next print statement is A within square bracket 1 colon 1. So it will give no output as start and stop index are the same. It will start at 1 and it will stop at 1 also, excluding index number 1. That means no characters present in that range. So no output for that print statement. Next question is to define traversal of a string. Write a program to input a word and print back the word without vowels. Now, what is a string traversal? That means processing every character of the string. That is called traversing the string. Now we'll see the program. Here, the string which is entered by the user, that is stored in a variable called str. Now with the help of a for loop, we are just removing the vowel characters. That means for I in str, if I not in a, e, I, o, u, that means I is not any of the vowel characters, then print I, and it will end with like that means it will not end with a new line. That means it will be printed in the same line. So all the characters which are present in the string, that will be checked one by one, and if the character is not a vowel, that means not in a list of vowel characters that we have specified in the bracket, then that character will be printed. So if the entire word is nectarine, then it will not print the characters like E, A, I, and E. So the output is NCTRN. The same program you can do it another way also. That means you can create a separate string which will store the word without the vowel characters. So same thing, you just enter a word and put it in a variable called str and take another variable str1. That's a string variable with no value inside it. Now in the for loop, you can write for I in str. If I not in a, e, I, o, u, then str1 is equal to str1 plus I. That means str1 is the string which will store all the characters from the string str which are not in vowel range. So if you run the program like this, the word entered is blueberry, then it will print the words, it will collect the words like B, L, B, R, R, Y, all the consonant characters, and that will be stored in a variable str1. And once you print str1, then you'll get the output like this. Now the next question is to change the above program to surround the vowels with parentheses. In a previous program, we have just removed the vowels, but in this program, we have to just surround the vowels with parentheses. So same thing, you have to take the string as input and store it in a variable called str. Now in a for loop, you have to write for I in str if I in a, e, I, o, u, then print I, but I has to be enclosed within parentheses, just like this in a print statement. Otherwise, simply print I. So now run the program, and if the entered word is nectarine, then you can see the output is like this. It will print the character N as it is, but when it will encounter E, then it will print E surrounded with the parentheses. Then the next character is C, that will be printed as it is without any parentheses, and the subsequent characters will be printed as per the condition. Now read the following codes and check whether they will execute or not and why. The code is like this. My tuple 1 is a tuple with values 1, 2, 3, and my tuple 1 dot append 4. That means we want to append one value with the tuple and print my tuple 1. But actually this code will not get executed. It will throw some error. Why? Because append function cannot be applied on a tuple, as tuple is an immutable data type. So we cannot append any value with a tuple. So this is not possible. Now the next code is like this. My tuple 2 is a tuple having value 1, 2, 3, and my tuple 3 is another tuple having value 4. Now you want to print my tuple 2 plus my tuple 3. That means you want to append, you want to join two tuples. But this code will also give you error because my tuple 3 contains a single value, and a tuple with a single value is not considered as a tuple. So you cannot add these two things. So however, we can do one thing, that you can modify my tuple 3 as like this. Within parentheses, we just give a comma after the first element. So it will consider it as a tuple. In that case, if you try to add both the tuples, my tuple 2 plus my tuple 3, then you can get the output as 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can just write this code and run it yourself to get the output. The next code is like this. There is a list with name my list having values 0, 3, 4, 1. Now the next statement is removing one element 3 from the list by using the remove function. Now it is printing the list. Now here what will happen? The item 3 will be removed from the list, and the content of the list now becomes like this: 0, 4, 1. Now the next question is to write legal if the expression is legal, and error if the expression causes any error. Now you have to check each of the expressions, then you have to find out whether that is a legal Python code or not. The first expression is like this: my list is equal to my list plus 4. 4 is also kept within square brackets, so 4 is also a list, so we can add or can join two lists. So it is a legal Python code. Next one is my list dot append within bracket you have passed 4. That means you want to append one value to list my list. So this is also legal Python code. The next one is del my list of 0. That means we want to delete the item from the list which is present at the index number 0. So this is also a legal Python code. Next one is my tuple is equal to my tuple plus 4 comma. 4 comma is kept within a parenthesis. That means that is also considered as a tuple. And my tuple is equal to my tuple plus another tuple. So there is no problem. This is also a legal Python code. Next one is my tuple dot append within bracket you have passed 4. But this code will give some error because append function cannot be used with tuple kind of variable. So it is not possible. This will give error. Next one is delete my tuple 0. That means you are trying to delete the element which is present at the 0 index number of the tuple my tuple, which is not possible with a tuple type of data. So it will give error because delete function cannot be used with tuple. Next one is my string is equal to my string plus 4. So this is a legal Python code because 4 will be added at the end of the string or appended at the end of the string my string by using plus operator. But myString.append 4 will give some error because append function cannot be used with a string. Next one is delete myString within square bracket 0. That means it is trying to delete the character which is present at the 0 index number. But this will give you some error because delete function cannot be used with string. Now consider the code. What will be the value of a at the end? I can see initially the value of a is 1, 2, 3. This is a list type of variable. Then we are assigning a of 2 is equal to 0. That means we are assigning 0 at index number 2. So now the list becomes 1, 2, 0. Now next we are writing a within square bracket a of 2 is equal to 5. Okay, that means 5 is assigned at index number 0. So now the list will become 5 2 0. Now next a within square bracket 1 colon 2 is equal to empty. That means the values from index number 1 to 2 will be empty. So now print a. Now if you try to print, you can see here, now your list will become 5 0. Okay, that means element present at index number 1 will be assigned with empty list. So that is no more there in the list. And now the content of your list is 5 0. Now the next program is to write a program that accepts a list and removes the value at index number 0 from list by modifying the same list. You can see a is equal to eval input, enter the items. Now print a. Now delete a of 0. That means the element which is present at index number of 0 will be deleted. Now try to print a and see the output. Now once you run the program, it will ask you to enter the items. I have used the eval method, so you have to pass the list like this within square brackets. You have to write the values, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it will print the values which are present in list A, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. And next it will delete the value which is present at index number 0, that means 1 will be deleted from the list. And now the current list is 2, 3, 4. Now before discussing question number 8, let us understand how to copy a list in Python. Why? Because that question is based on this copying a list in Python. So basically, A list copy is done in three ways in Python. One is directly by assignment, by using equal to operator, by assigning one list to another variable. Next one is called by shallow copy, and next one is called by deep copy. Now we'll just understand briefly how these three work. First is by assignment. That means B is equal to A. A is a particular list that you have defined in your program, and you'll just assign it to another variable called B. So by assignment, it doesn't make a copy of list A. Rather, it creates a new list variable B, pointing to the same memory location of list A. So whatever changes made in one list will also be reflected in the other list, because actually they are not two lists, rather one list having two names. So this is fine. Like suppose one list is there, list A having some values, and you're just writing B is equal to A. That means it will not create another new list called B. It will just B is another name that will point to the same list. That means list will be one, but it can be referred by two names. So let's check this code. Let's say A is a list having values 1, 2, 3, and another sub list having values 4, 5, and B is equal to A. Now we are modifying any value which is present at index number 0 of B, list B. We are assigning B of 0 is equal to 5, and also we are assigning a new value um, of list A, which is present at index number 3, 0. We are modifying it as 7. Now we'll just print and see how what is the output. List A is equal to A, that is 5, 2, 3, 7, 5. And list B also same thing. That means whatever modification you have done in one list, that will be reflected in other list also. Why? Because actually the same list is only getting modified. The elements of same particular list is getting modified. There are actually no two lists. There's a single list only, and we are using two names to access the list, either A or B. So whatever changes we'll make in one list, that means the name of one list, then that will be reflected by in the other name also. Now the next kind of copy we can do, that is called shallow copy. Shallow copy can be done in these three ways, these two ways. That is B is equal to A within bracket, within square bracket you can just write colon. In that way, whatever is the content of list A will be copied to list B. Or you can just write B is equal to A dot copy method. That means you can use a copy function to copy list A into list B. So this is called shallow copy. Then what happens in this case? A shallow copy creates a new object and stores the reference of the original elements. So one new object will be created in this case, that is B, and it will store the reference of the original elements of list A. So here what will happen, whatever changes made in one list will not be reflected in the other list, as they have separate pointers. Okay, so whatever changes you will make in one list, that will not be reflected in the other list. But there is one condition. However, if the list contains a compound object, that means if the list is having one nested list or a sub list, and if you modify the compound object or the nested list, then the changes will be reflected in the other list as well. That means whatever changes you'll make in the sublist part of the list, then that will be reflected in the other list. Why? Because both the lists share the same reference of the same compound objects. Now let's understand this with the help of this example. Now here there is a list called A having values 1, 2, 3, one sublist 4, 5. Then we are making a copy of the list A. B is equal to A within square bracket. You have just passed the colon. That means here B is a shallow copy of list A. The same thing you can do by using the copy method also. Now we are changing one value of list B. That means B of 1 is equal to 9. That means we are assigning a value 9 of index number 1 of list B. Now we are modifying one sublist element, that is A of 3 and 1, that is 11. That means the element which is present at index number 3, 1, that will be changed to 11 in list A. Now we'll just print list A and list B and let's see what's the output. Now here you can see list A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, and list B is equal to 1, 9, 3, 4, 11. Now here you can see we have modified one normal list element in one list and another sublist element of another list. So here you can see when you are modifying a sublist element, then that modification is being reflected in both the list. But if you are modifying a normal list element, like we have modified B of 1 is equal to 9, then that change is only reflected in the list B. The same modification is not reflected in list A. But the changes made in the sublist portion, that is reflected in both the list. That is the thing which will happen if you copy one list from another list by shallow copy. So this is the thing you should remember. Now the next thing is I can copy by using deep copy. Deep copy method is beyond the scope of your syllabus, I think, but still you just learn this much. Deep copy is done by using a deep copy method. For that you have to import one copy module. Then B is equal to copy dot deep copy, within bracket you have to pass the original list, that is A. So deep copy creates a new object and inserts the copies of original list into it. The copied elements have their own pointers. So however changes made in one list, that means you make change in the normal list element or in the sublist part, whatever changes you'll make in one list, that will not be reflected in the other list. That means if you change the content of one list, then the copied list will not reflect the changes at all. Now just check this example. Now deep copy is done like this. You have to import the copy module and A is the list, original list, and B is equal to copy dot deep copy. Within that you have passed A. So B is a deep copy of the list A. Now here we are modifying one list element and one nested list element. Just we have done previously. Now if you want to print both the list, then you can see the output like this. Whatever changes you have made in a list B, that will be reflected in list B only. And whatever changes you'll make in list A, that will be reflected in list A only. So the changes made in one list will never be reflected in the other list, even though they are copied, but since it's a deep copy, so it will not be reflected. So this much thing you should know as of now to carry out the further programming. Now the next question goes like this. Assume following lines entered one at a time. Circle the lines producing error. If no error, write the output. Here you can see A is a list having some elements. The elements is having containing sublists also. And A of -1 is equal to 200. That means you are assigning 200 at the last index position of the list A. Now B is equal to A colon. That means this is the way how one list is copied into another list, as I have discussed earlier. So this kind of copying method is called a shallow copy. So in shallow copy, what happens? I have just told, if a list is copied by using shallow copy method, then whatever changes are made in the list element, normal list element, that will not be reflected in the other list. But if any change is made in the sublist part or the nested list part, then that will be reflected in the other list. So here we are modifying B of 003 is equal to 17. So I have just shown what are the things present at index number 0, like A of 0 is equal to, that is a list of lists, that is containing two elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. These are the two lists. And A of 1 is equal to 9. and a of 0, 0 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a of 0, 1 is 6, 7, 8. A of 0, 0, 0 is equal to 1, a of 0, 0, 1 is equal to 2, a of 0, 0, 2 is equal to 3. Like this, I have just written there. You can see I have put it in comment part. Now we are modifying b of 0, 0, 3 is equal to 17. That means we are making some modification in the sublist part of the list B. B is nothing but a shallow copy of list A. So whatever changes you will make in the sublist part of any of the list or nested list part of any of the list, then the modification will be reflected in the other list. Now, if you are trying to print A and B, then you can see the output. Both the lists are having the same output. Even though you have modified in the list B, the same modification will be reflected in list A, because we are modifying in the nested part of the list. But if you will modify the last index number, let's say after that you are modifying the last index number value, that means a of -1 or b of -1, you are assigning with some other value, then you can see that that change will not be reflected in the other list. You can just try it out by yourself and see the changes. Now the next program is to take two tuples and create a third one that contains all the elements of first list followed by the elements of the second list. This is a very simple program. You can just take two tuple variables, tuple 1 and tuple 2, and you can take the values at runtime by using the eval function. Eval input enter values for tuple 1 and eval input enter values for tuple 2. In that case, it will ask the user to enter the values for tuple 1 and tuple 2. But remember one thing, while entering the values, you have to keep the values within parentheses. Then only it can consider it as a tuple. Now, when you run the program, you can get the output as the two tuples are appended to each other. That means the content of tuple 2 is added with the content of tuple 1, and tuple 3 output is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now arrays are implemented through lists. Write a program to sort an array of integers in ascending order. So here there is one array, let's say having name array1, having some values 4, 2, 9, 1, 8, 5, 6. And as it is mentioned, arrays are nothing but list of integers. So we have kept them within square brackets. Now since it is a list, so we can directly apply sort function with this list. So we can just write array1 dot sort. So whatever value is present in this list called array1, that will be sorted in ascending order. Then once you print array1, then you can get the values in ascending order. Now what if you need to sort elements of a tuple? How can you make it happen? As you know, tuple is immutable data type, so you cannot sort the elements directly in the tuple. So one thing we can do, we can convert a tuple into a list, then we can apply the sort method on this. Now let's see there is a tuple variable called tuple1 having values 4, 2, 9, 1, 8, 5, 6. And since it is a tuple, we cannot directly apply sort method on this tuple. Then we can convert the tuple into a list by using list function. So list1 is a variable which will store the tuple which is converted into list by using list function. Now list1 is a list having the same values, so those are present in a tuple 1. Now you can directly use sort method on this list by writing list1 dot sort. Now if you print list1, then you can see the values will be in ascending order. Now again, if you want to convert this list into a tuple, then you can do it by using tuple function. Now write a program that reverses a 2D array of integers implemented as nested list in order of 0th element of every inner list. So here you can see there is a 2D array. LST is a 2D array having elements like this. There are three sublists basically: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means you can consider it as a 3 cross 3 array, 2D array. Now you can just write for I in range length of list. That means it will range from 0 to 3. Length of list is 3, so the loop will iterate for 3 times for 0 and 1 and 2. Then list of I dot reverse. List of I means it is considering each sublist of the list LST. Now reverse method will directly called on this sublist. So each of the sublist will be iterated and that will be reversed. Now if you print the list, then it will give the output as shown below. That means each of the sublists are sorted in, each of the sublists are represented in reverse order. 1, 2, 3 become 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6 become 6, 5, 4, and 7, 8, 9 became 9, 8, 7. Now here ends the solutions of the second chapter practical book, that is Python sequences, string, list and tuples. Now if there is any doubt, you can put it in comment section, and stay tuned for more solutions. And you can also check for the video link for the solution of other chapters in the description box, and do subscribe, and thank you.